episode of Orinda Talks. Today we will talk about the Queen's Gambit. The Queen Gambit is a 2020 American coming-of-age period drama streaming on a television miniseries based on the 1983 novel of the same name by Walter Tevis. The title refers to the Queen's Gambit, a chess opening. The series was written and directed by Scott Frank, who created it with Alan Scott, who owns the right to the book, and beginning in the mid-1950s and proceeding into the 1960s. The story follows the life of Beth Harmon, a fictional chess prodigy on her rise to the top of the chess world while struggling with drugs and alcohol dependency. The Queen's Gambit follows the life of an orphan chess prodigy, Elizabeth Harmon, during her quest to become an elite chess player while struggling with emotional problems, drugs, and alcohol dependency. The title of the series refers to a chess opening of the same name. The story is set in the mid-1950s and 1960s. In the 1950s, in Lexington, Kentucky, an 8-year-old Beth, having lost her mother in a car crash, and is taken to an orphanage where she is taught chess by the building custodian, Mr. Scheibel. As was common at the time, the orphanage dispenses daily tranquilizer pills to the girls to balance their disposition, which turn into an addiction for Beth. She quickly becomes a strong chess player due to her visualization skills. A few years later, Beth is adopted by childless suburban couple Alma and Alliston Wedley, and she adjusts to her new home. Beth enters a chess tournament and wins despite having no prior experience in competitive chess. Alma is initially resistant to Beth's interest in chess, but after Beth wins her first tournament, Alma is fully supportive of her adoptive daughter, sojourns to enter various chess competitions. She develops friendships with several people, including former Kentucky State Champion Harry Beltic, United States National Champion Benny Watts, and journalist and fellow player D.L. Towns. As Beth rises to the top of chess and reaps the financial benefits of her success, her drugs and alcohol dependency worsens. With help from her oldest friend Jolene, whom she grew up with in the orphanage, she prepares for her biggest challenge yet, a major international chess tournament against the world's best player in Moscow. Now, I must say that this series has brought my love for chess back, and there was a teacher on my primary school who taught me chess, and he always would say, chess will help you with mathematics. And that's how I started to see more in strategy, but also I could always think a couple of sets ahead. The only thing is, I wasn't that good. I didn't make a real sport of it, and I didn't have somebody to play with. Although, and of course, bear in mind, this is the time that internet was just rising. It was so new, and I know nowadays children can't even think about it, that internet was just at the beginning and not even there. So I didn't have someone to play with. Although I do have a very beautiful chess board and pieces that I bought in Spain, but it is like a Japanese version of the normal traditional chess pieces. So the main character is Beth Harmon, and I told you that in the intro. As she is so she is the genius that is playing chess, and if you see how she can visualize it, and when she was a child, she did that a lot because she didn't have anyone to play against, and the orphanage custodian was only the one who she played with, and it is thanks to him she'd been taught the game, and she has a love for the game. So it was very nice to see that this series also remembered me what I loved in chess. And there was a time that I was very good at it, but also I didn't had people around me who played chess, and so I could compete with it. So what I really like about Beth is that she is very determined, and she wants to be the best of the best. And I think because she was addicted to drugs, and I always say the green pills, it's almost like that she doesn't have any emotions or feelings. The only time I saw her having feelings is when her first chess teacher passed away, Mr. Scheibel. And, I think she lives a very eccentric life. Although how her mom and dad, adopted mom and dad, treated her, totally different, both totally different. Her dad didn't want to do anything to do with her, and her mother was claiming her because she didn't have anyone. And that was so nice to her, and she, because of she entered into this competitions. Her mom was her first manager, but she also, and that's what I did like about her, is that she would talk or manipulate Beth into things that Beth didn't want to, and that she it's a typical mom that, it's not like the warm a warm mother, but she's moderate Beth. And I think when her mom passed away, that was the first time she could actually spread her wings totally. And I do also think that Beth, if you see from the beginning till the end how, in one way, a tough life she had, and she had to fight for her own right, who she is. And I think because of that, because she was still seeking, because from the orphanage, and her mom dictated how she have to live, and I can talk with experience about it. My mom did the same with me. I think she never could explore herself, and she needed to have those green pills to get loose, and especially alcohol. She partied party a lot. And, well, in that way, because she had this little fling romance with Harry Baltic, and that was one thing when they had for the first time sex. You could see that she didn't have any emotion, and I was feeling so sorry for him. Talking about that actor, guys, who played Harry Baltic, he is the one who played Dudley in Harry Potter. And it is nice to see, because this is the only thing I saw from him after Harry Potter. So it is nice to see that also he is working forward in his career. But like I said, I was really in one way bummed out, because Harry was literally in love with her. And that was one of the reasons he taught her so much, because of course, there are champions, and all those champions later on combined their hats to help Beth to defeat the big chess master, Borgov, who is really the example of and is of what's his name? Kasparov, the Russian Kasparov, of course, big grand chess master himself. So that is one thing I really loved, and throughout the series, she spent time with each chess master or chess champion, so she could learn. And although, like I said, it is, I don't know, in one way, you could a little bit compare her with Betty Cooper from Riverdale. She has a good side and she has a bad side, but those two sides are very extreme. But there were moments that I felt pity with her, like how her adopted dad was treating her, and the headmaster of the orphanage. And yeah, it's just, I think she didn't have a great life growing up. And, I think chess was her outlet to go and, in one way, be in her head, in her fantasy world in a way. But I think it's this series, and it's just a great way to tell the story of a good-natured girl, but also very troubled. And we could see that also when she, for the first time, when she was in the orphanage and everyone was watching I think that was an educational movie about growing up, sex, etc. And she slipped out so she could go to the drugs lab, and she broke into to get a lot of those green pills where she is addicted to. And she been caught. But so it's very nice to see that she eventually has a good outcome in the way of her life is okay, although she still drinks. Um, and the last scene of the last episode, when she defeated Borgov, she went just on the street and played there with an old mister who also played chess, and it was nice to see that they invited her with open arms. So I already have talked about a little bit about Harry Baltic, and I must say I wish they did, or the writers made him a stronger character, because most of the time those chess geniuses are very eccentric. They have, oh, and that's what I was forgetting about Beth. I think they cast her very well, because she has this unique appearance, like how she looks. You can recognize her everywhere, and I had that moment when I was watching oh jeez, what's the hold on, when she played in Peaky Blinders, and I recognized her right away. So she became good friends with Harry Baltic, and he helped her further to go in the other national championships. And in the national championship, she had to play against Benny Watts, and he is another champion. And he is one of the champions who help her to defeat Borgov, the Russian grandmaster. And but Benny was a character that I was thinking, that actor has a baby face, and it reminds me of when he played in, and now I don't remember the name anymore again, but he was he's a very well-known actor who, so I was thinking of, okay, what is he doing here? And I don't know what the writers or director wanted to make him, or looking older with that mustache, or they want to make him like eccentric. And I don't know what to think about him. And it's really, I don't know how to say this, but yeah, I think, I don't know, he is like he is not a person that will go deep in emotions, or, well, maybe he does, because he was very flamboyant. And in one way I didn't like him. I liked Harry better than him. So during all those matches, etc., and she was flying all over the world, traveling all over the world, she make a lot of chess friends who will help her later with defeating the Russian Borgov. And another friend of her is D.L. Towns. He was also a chess player, but he is also a photographer who took pictures of her in beautiful poses and put her on the cover of magazines. And he was her great and dear friend, but also I think one of her biggest supporters. And I always thought that they would end up together, but no luck there. I do think D.L. Towns is a character that had to be in this series, because I think without him it would be dull. And I think D.L. Towns was the one who helped her develop herself. Not only in a good way, but also like a feminine way. Of course, we also have Jolene, who is one of her good friends from the orphanage since she was black, and she also has this big pile of hair. But the thing what I like about Jolene, she was there at the moment for Beth that she needed her, and Jolene was her encouragement. And later on we see her when Mr. Scheibel, the custodian of the orphans home, passed away. Jolene was the one who comforted her with the emotions, the sorrow, and the hurt and loss of her first teacher, because she went back to the orphanage, and in the first place she didn't want to, but she did. And she found out at his place that he put all the articles in magazines and papers about her. He cut them out, and he cherished them. There's only one thing she took from that, and that was the very first picture of her and him for as teacher and protege. So I was very I don't want to say happy, but I was thankful that she had this close friend. And I always was thinking, why not Harry? Harry did so much for you. Harry was there for you when you needed him. Harry was there for you to help you in every way. And you treated him like shit. So, why? And then of course we have the father and mother of Beth. Well, adoptive one. Her mom called Alice, I believe. Am I saying that right? Let me check. Alma. But like I said, she was very claimy and smothering Beth, and she even asked Beth for money or what she won, but I think she was the one rock in her life that she couldn't build off. And so she tolerated her, and later in the series we see that she was playing the piano for people in the hotel where they were, and she ended up drinking herself to death. And sometimes I really think that Beth, that she influenced Beth with it, because also Beth was very uh, alcoholic, and that's one. In one way, I can understand it. On the other hand, I'm thinking, be different, But I can understand why. And then her father, that is a man that he didn't want to do anything with her, even when she was winning all those tournaments or whatever. And we see when her mom was died, and I think because Beth and her mom were traveling so much, I think her dad had an affair. And when her mom died, her dad was in Mexico and he couldn't come back. And he said, well, you have to arrange everything. And then she came home and her dad said, well, I'm going to sell the house, so you need to get out. And Beth said, well, then I will buy the house from you. How much do you want to have? And he gave her a number that was very outrageous. But also like, you're not a true father and you don't deserve even her attention or whatever. So her adopted father was a very douchebag. And I didn't like him at all. But okay. And I think in one way it was good riddance that he didn't take care of her or didn't say, okay, you are earning money, so you need to give me this and this percentage or whatever. What he isn't entitled to. What I do like about Beth is that she was very far ahead for her age and time, and you see her from being ugly duckly, she became a swan, she became fashionable, and she was like, she wasn't hiding anymore, because in the orphanage, as you saw, she was one of them, one of the children. But as soon as she had her own salary, she was starting buying things that make her bad. And that's why she was also a fashion icon, like Princess Diana. And I think, like I said before, they have cast her very well. And yeah, she has something unique, I think. So the last character I like to talk about is Vasily Borkov. That's the Russian Grandmaster and the current world champion. And no one has ever defeated him. So Borkov has his team around him and Beth has her team around her. The only thing is, only the Towns was there at the tournament because the other guys couldn't come or traveling, etc. But I really did like the scene when they found out that Beth had won at the tournament, and I think she would be the first female grandmaster in chess. So I think also Borkov was a little bit, I don't know, not flabbergasted, but he was surprised that she actually won from him. And he offered her a draw. And, well, we know Beth. Beth doesn't do draws. She wants to win. So, did you know that, ironically, the Queen's Gambit wanted to cast a real-life Grandmaster in the role of Borkov? The part was initially offered to Garry Kasparov, who turned it down. But instead, he asked to be a behind-the-scenes consultant. He designed the Borkov and Beth's game in the final episode. The Queen's Gambit And I think that is very, very great that he still offered his knowledge. And yeah, I was very surprised by that. What I also really love about Beth, but also what they very good showed you in the series, is that Beth could visualize and thinking three-dimensional. And often when she was lying in bed, and later she did that when she was in the bath, you could see her actually thinking how the play would go on upside down on the ceiling. And I really like that because I can recognize that in a way, but I have that with stories, fantasy stories. And so to see Beth do that in the same way, it's very nice to see. What I also love about her is that she loves jazz. And she has her own way of thinking of decorating and being this fashion model in a way. And like I said, of course she has a bad side with being addicted to pills and drugs and alcohol. It was really nice to see that she would find her way in like fashion and other things. So I really love this series, and to be honest, yeah, I don't know, it's just a very good series, and I hope that there will be another season, but I have a hard hat on it, but okay. We will see, let's see what Netflix will do. So the rating on IMDb for this series is a 8.6. And I think I would give it the same rating because it is good. I really enjoyed it. And you know, I didn't tell you that even because in the beginning, when it was on Netflix, I was postponing to watch it. And I think it would be 1.5 years later when I started to watch, and then I binge watched it, you know. I had it finished in one night binging it. So that means I really, really, really liked it, and you know, there were some things that I was thinking, okay, they could do that differently or more. All in all, I think this is a very good series. So, thank you guys for listening, and join me in 2 weeks for a new episode of Arena Talks. And the next episode is about Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You can listen, subscribe, and comment to Arena Talks on the YouTube channel or join the Facebook group. I also like to tell you about my other podcast called Girls Talking Trek. Girls Talking Trek is a podcast hosted by 2 female trackers who will recap every 2 weeks an episode of Star Trek TNG. All the episodes will be recapped and chronically following. Girls Talking Trek is also to listen, follow and subscribe on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, on all your favorite podcast app. Every 10th episode will be a video episode so you guys can see us when we talk about the episode. We also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook group where you can comment on the episode. I will see you in 2 weeks.